is my eBay suspension open Q&A. I want to start with the most important question. All right, so this question came up a bunch. Wait, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat. And Christina and I are going to go. You can ask us anything. Christina will answer the question. If they can hear me, then I'll get into it. With the number one most important question.
We'll let people come in.
Will people come in? Okay. But I want to definitely go over just, the Q&A that people were asking. I guess number one, we can start with what happens to my staff. They just moved to Whatnot. So I think they can hear us?
Yep, it started now.
Okay. So number one, all my staff, they're still good. They're going to move from eBay to Whatnot, and they'll follow me to whatever platform I decide to sell on in the future. Next will be, should you be afraid to list things on eBay? That's probably the most important question. A lot of people are scared, like you got suspended, you're a big seller. 99.9% of people have nothing to worry about because they're not selling the high risk items. eBay told me that selling or thrifted goods had nothing to do with it. It was just me selling the high end sneakers that had the problem. It had nothing to do with the thrifted items. 99% of people will be fine. You can continue to list those items. Just don't have a spike in sales would be the main key in my recommendation.
Hi, everyone. Fitted Oasis says, what is your plan after this? Closing the storage unit?
I think so. So right now I have 1,200 square feet. I think I'm going to close down to just 400 square feet. I don't want to have any inventory, so I'm most likely just going to sell wholesale to other resellers. I still buy 1,000 items per week. Maybe I'll buy 2,000 items per week, and instead of making most of the money when I sell it online, I'll just sell it to resellers and let them make the money. I think there is a bit of a stigma with wholesale, so I want to keep my prices low. So I imagine wholesale prices for me will be between $4 and $7, and you'll be able to sell for between $10 and $30 plus shipping. So that's where I plan on doing my wholesale, and I'm probably going to close down 2 of the 3 storage units we've already started. It's going to take me, I would say, probably 1 month to sell all 10,000 of my items. And we're going to release a video shortly, either today or tomorrow, going over what I'm going to do to try to take all this stuff down.
Scott says, Chris, you had to have known you were playing with fire.
I definitely knew I was playing with fire. But again, I also thought I would be fine because a lot of the sneakers went through the sneaker authentication program. I knew I could not prove provenance. So there is some confusion out there. People are thinking, couldn't you have just had your friend notarize something? Yes, I could have, and I did send in receipts with my friend. I sent in bank statements showing the transfer. I did not Zelle all of the money. I sent some checks. So check, Zelle, that's how I paid for the items, all in my bank account. Obviously, I'm gonna have to report this income to the IRS because the statement from eBay shows millions of dollars in sales. So I have to show, obviously, cost of goods sold. Otherwise, I would be responsible for all of that income. So I had to subtract the cost of goods sold. But that's different than, I'm gonna quote Rockstar Flipper here. He was saying, the chain of custody was not proven. That was really the issue. So nothing illegal, nothing fraudulent, but when you don't have chain of custody to prove, that's why I was playing with fire. And I thought it might go away because I stopped, and eBay even, it's interesting, right? eBay didn't stop me while I was doing it. They did it 3 months after. I stopped selling sneakers January 19th, and I got suspended in April. So obviously eBay was okay with the sale, so they could pump up their gross numbers. They didn't ask me any questions while I was doing it, which I find suspicious. So it is what it is, and I knew I was playing with fire. I didn't do anything illegal. Is it possible I get my eBay account back is also a question. I don't think so, but maybe. I've heard people saying you wait a year, you wait a couple years, maybe eBay gives your account back, or they unsuspend you, but I don't think so because I know people that work at eBay and they said no. So I don't know if their hands are tied. You guys can let me know in the chat. Do you think eBay's hands are tied and they can't unsuspend me even if they wanted to? Because they also have relationships with other companies. So I don't know. I'm not more important than their relationship with Nike. So it's interesting, right? I don't know.
NC Fire says maybe switching up your approach to just supplying other resellers with inventory is the way to go. Other resellers are the most consistent customers.
Yeah, definitely. And plus our mentorship for how to teach people how to resell grew after I got suspended. So a lot of people did ask, how do I sell $1.8 million worth of sneakers? And I'm not going to go down that road. But essentially, networking is the number one way you do. You've got to meet people. It was not Michael Jordan. I'm not friends with him. Guys, if Michael Jordan sold his sneaker collection, it would be billions of dollars, okay? It's not even remotely close. So it's not, it's like the opportunity for resellers to make money will continue to grow as the platforms evolve. Unfortunately, eBay has remained flat sort of the last 10 years in a row. They haven't really improved, but they haven't really declined either. A lot of people have said, oh, eBay's on its way out. eBay is not on its way out, okay? It's still the best platform. I can't even really think of an obvious number two. Let me know in the chat, what's an obvious number three actually? Amazon number one, eBay number two, who's number three? What is the third best platform to sell your own goods, your own used goods?
AA says, I don't understand, don't have a spike in sales. The whole reason of reselling is to make as much money as possible.
That is absolutely not the whole point of reselling. The point of reselling is to make the most total money possible. So the most total money possible means slow growth over time. Do what my colleague Tech and Sports did. He's going to make $10, $20 million in his lifetime on eBay. That's a lot. Why would you jeopardize making $10 or $20 million over the course of your eBay career to make $1,000 today? It does not make any sense. The point is to make the most money possible, total amount of money possible. So you don't want to go from selling $200 a day to $2,000 a day. You're going to get flagged and suspended because that growth is not normal. So you do not want to have that kind of growth. Everyone that's listening right now, please smash the like button. Maybe consider subscribing. We're going to be doing some different content now coming up that since I'm not going to be an eBay seller anymore. I'm former eBay seller, but you know, it is one way to go out on the platform selling too much stuff. Don't do that. Don't sell too much stuff too soon and get banned. That's not the best way to do it.
Yeah. Drake says Mercari is just slow to list, but decent traffic.
Okay, so maybe Mercari is number two. My wife and I were talking about it. I think Mercari might be where I run a small store, just to show, because I want to show everyone how to efficiently list and store things. So maybe I'll have a small Mercari store. Tomorrow on our video, we're going to talk about, I'm going to change my shelving system slightly to store inventory.
Carol is asking, is there some reason why you wouldn't just pivot to have your own website with an online store? You already have a following.
I can do that. One thing that bothers me about that is I don't want to rely on my following. Like, and if you guys have been following me over the years, I don't really plug my eBay store. I don't really say like, hey, other influencers will be like, hey, I bought 14 items this week. Go to my store and buy those 14 items. I've never really done that. I've been sort of showing people how to resell. My brand is more showing people how to resell than using my audience to buy my things. So that's cool in a sense that I do have my own audience and I spent 5 years building that, but I'm not like here to cash out on my audience and be like, you know, like, okay, I'll give you an example. The Squirtle plush that you guys saw in the videos, that sold for $200 on auction. That's too much. I'm not looking to do that. Like, obviously it's cool because he was in a bunch of videos, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather sell something to you guys for $4 to $7 that you can sell for $10 to $30, make a little profit, or I'd rather sell you guys a Nike jacket that's worth $20 for $20. I never pushed my eBay store on my audience, so I don't really plan on doing that. Christine and I were researching Shopify, mostly Christine, researching Shopify earlier, and it is good. I can plug it into my existing website, Daily Refinement. It's like a $70 a month fee and run my own items, and I'm going to do that. Wholesale and maybe the items of the week. Maybe I'll run it more like other YouTube channels where they go find cool stuff and sell it to their audience. There's nothing wrong with that, I guess. It's just not my normal thing.
AA has a question. So what is advisable in terms of growth? I sell about 500 pounds a week, so will I get banned if I jump to 1,000 pounds soon?
No, it's no one will get banned for like increases of a few $1,000s in my opinion per day. If you go from 10 listings a day to 30 listings a day, I still don't think that would trigger it. My average sale price on $2.5 million is actually $100. It wasn't that high. So people were saying like, what is the threshold where it will release the red flag? A lot of it depends on the category. If you're selling used clothing, I'm not sure there is a volume you can get suspended with Banana Republic, J. Crew, Madewell, the brands that I sold. I don't think you can list enough of it because it's Old Navy, Gap. I think you could list 1,000 items a day and no one would care because it's not a high risk category. No one's counterfeiting Gap. No one's counterfeiting a Banana Republic button down. Why would they counterfeit that? It only sells for $12 to $15 on eBay. They're counterfeiting stuff that's more valuable. So I think that there's not a risk depending on the category. Now, if you sell computers, you could be flagged with five computers because that's a lot. Like 5 MacBooks. There's a lot of people who reached out to me that have been suspended for Apple. So that's so many people because it's just high risk, high fraud, lots of stolen. I mean, it's a difficult category. For me, mixing in both, eBay actually didn't even flag me really. They let me sell all the way. They didn't shut it off. Like you'll see people get a 3-day suspension, 7-day suspension. Lindy Glenn got a short suspension for, I think, over-the-counter stuff. And I had mentioned that when I made that video, a subscriber copied my store. They got a 3-day suspension for selling over-the-counter drugs. I would avoid any stuff like that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Appreciate you.
Nick Roberts. He says, Chris, you did a completely legal business move and you were easily to keep up with the volume. Why are you acting like eBay is being reasonable, banning you?
The reason why I think eBay is being responsible is because maybe they're using me as an example to like don't sell lots of expensive goods without receipts. I don't think they're making an example though. I do think it's reasonable because I even thought about it during it. Christine and I were talking about me. I'm a little bit tired of talking about eBay content. I've been talking about eBay content for 5 straight years. If you guys have been watching me, sometimes I release 3 to 5 videos in a day talking about eBay. That's how much stuff I've been doing. So it's like, do I think that they're reasonable? Yes. Do I think that I should have been given more benefit of the doubt? Probably. But I'm wondering if it's not eBay. So I don't know. If you guys think that it's managed payments, the payment processor could be Adyen, could be Nike. I don't think it's Nike because I don't know. They could have easily found out where I got those shoes. Nike definitely knows. So Nike can just take a short. People who bought from me know. So it's not that crazy. And I just think that I do think eBay is unreasonable in suspending me, but a small part of me is ready to do something different. I don't know if that makes sense, but a small part of me is wanting to do something different.
Thank you for the super chat, Harry Tornado.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you.
He says, whatever you decide to do, you will be successful. You are by far the most motivated and driven reseller I've ever met. Congratulations on this new chapter of life.
Thank you, Josh. It is bittersweet. And when I go to the reseller event, Flipcon in, is it September or August? Later this summer. Go buy a ticket. Go follow Harry Tornado on YouTube. I mean, most of you know who he is, and Instagram. Sign up for the event. Christine and I are both going, and we're going to be talking about whatever you need. I'll try to provide. I was actually thinking maybe Josh would reach out to me and say you're uninvited and cancel me, but I don't know. I think I can still provide value to people in person. So I'm excited to go to that event, and we will answer as many questions as we can when we get there. And we want to do some content with best practices with different resellers when we get out there.
And then thank you for another super chat, Nashville Bones.
Thank you.
Will they release your funds if you're permanently banned?
This is so interesting, right? They did not hold my funds. Is that weird? You guys, let me know in the chat if you think this is odd. They did not hold the funds. They released all the funds. That is a very unusual thing. Usually when you get suspended, they hold the money. They did not do that. They got all the money. So I find that very odd. And right now I have one return open for like $10. I can't even refund the person because when you're suspended, you have to wait till the person to open a case. You lose the case. So I'm gonna get a defect. I can't even respond to the customer. can't even say, I can't even issue a full refund. So I have to wait for the case to close against me and then take the money out of my bank account. So my account will actually be, I actually owe eBay like $10. So I find that really strange. Usually they hold your money. They did not hold my money. I find that a little bit odd, actually.
Another super chat from Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Chris, I'm in the Patreon and Facebook group and want to say thanks for continuing to be in and support us as we support you. Hope this small donation helps.
Appreciate you. And also, do not start a GoFundMe for me, because here's why. I think GoFundMe should be for people who cannot help themselves. I'm still able to work. I'm still kicking. So I will still move on to something else. I should knock on wood, I should be fine. So please save those for other people.
Let's see. There was, Judith.
Oh, we're good.
Please clarify. If you had many of these authenticated in their authentication program, wouldn't they have asked for invoices then? I don't understand this, but I am horrified by it.
I know, it is interesting because I stopped selling sneakers on January 19th. It's been a really long time, 3 months ago. So also, this is a good lesson here in a bunch of ways. Number one, let's say you sell P90X, right? Beachbody. Sells for $600, the DVD program. You sell for $200, sells instantly, you ship it, customer gets it, positive feedback. You think you're in the clear? You're not in the clear. Beachbody will search solds. They can still vero you after the item has been sold and still suspend you. So from my understanding, this would make sense. I've been being investigated for a long time because they're trying to figure out whatever they're trying to figure out, because they didn't stop me while they were doing it. I find that extremely odd because I didn't receive any. This is my first suspension, so first and only suspension. So it's a bit odd that they didn't say don't do this practice anymore. I don't know. They still took all the money, so they can report all that as revenue, and I just find that odd. And I think that it's kind of like one of those situations where if I'm deemed too high of a risk, they would not be able to do it anyway. There wouldn't be any kind of recourse.
I am not his wife, by the way.
No, this is Christine. She's the videographer.
I'm the videographer. I'm usually behind the camera.
She's usually behind the camera.
Showing my face today.
Yep.
Another super chat from John Carr.
Thank you, John.
Just found your channel. I'm a budding eBay seller.
I love it.
I have over 100 reviews, 100% positive. Got any quick tips for me to grow?
Absolutely. So Christine and I are taking now questions on, I'm going to be mentoring 10 resellers for free for the first time. Right now we're trying to figure out what 10 resellers I should pick, but I want to continue to make eBay content because I still like eBay. I can't sell on eBay anymore, but I was just thinking, get 10 people on a Zoom call in the morning. You have to have audio, you have to have visual. I want to look at your space. You tell us what's going on. So this will be great. Maybe if you're just getting started and you're 10 listings a day, 100% feedback, 100% everything. It's a good time to take your time, right? Don't be in a hurry. When you are listing items, make sure that you can do it forever. So it's nice to make money all in one big chunk, but I recommend just slowly growing your store, going from 5 listings a day to 10 to 15 to 20. Take your time, look at your processes, look at how much capital you have, think about how much money you reinvest. So let's say you make $20 profit, do you put 10 into a piggy bank? Save that for a larger purchase. That's what I recommend, because I don't recommend buying bulk without being in a specific niche, or ideally you're buying from the same supplier week after week so that you can really develop a relationship, and you need capital for that. But honestly, all of the money in reselling comes from once in a lifetime opportunities that happen, the big chunk of it. So like you're cruising once in a while. There's a $10,000 deal for $40,000 worth of stuff. That happened with me and Ben Davis. You guys saw that post I found at the flea market. There were 2,000 Ben Davis work shorts that were irregular, and those shorts were like $89, and I bought all of them for like $7. So those sold for $35. They were in my niche. Didn't take me extra time to list them. I knew how to display all the irregularity of them. Like essentially the shorts, like one of the legs is slightly longer, or the waist was the wrong measurement. All that stuff I know how to deal with. So if you stay in a particular niche, it'll pop in. Your supplier will say, this week we have 10,000 pairs of jeans. Last week you only had 2,000. And you'll be ready to capitalize on that if you just stay at a minimum. Also, since 2014, when I became an entrepreneur, I haven't increased my lifestyle. I would say that's huge. I'm still driving piece of crap Prius that's now broken, and I fixed the transmission on it, which sucked. I didn't upgrade my lifestyle. I essentially lived exactly the same. So when you live exactly the same and your income continues to grow, you get more savings, you get more investments, you can think about other things to protect yourself. But the only things that cost more money were when I got married, I had to save for a ring and the wedding. I got married. My expenses went down when I got married because now two people, like the per person expense went down because we could share some expenses together. But having the baby, that definitely increased my overhead. So it's cheaper to not have a baby because as you guys know, Beat the Bush is just down the street, and I want to make some content with him. Francis is really cool. He was putting like how I was able to retire early, and somebody put, you can just save all your time, essentially have a high income, low spending rate, no kids. That's a really good recipe to retire early. Don't spend any money, make a lot, no kids. I mean, that's like a really good formula for retiring it. He retired in his mid-30s and doesn't need to work anymore. But that's a really good recipe. So again, don't increase your lifestyle. Reinvest it back into your inventory and then slowly grow. Those are the best tips I can give.
Thank you, Tobacco Charms, for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. We're going to do one more live on Monday as well, so you can save up your questions for Monday as well. And then people are asking how they can buy the inventory. You can only buy it during a live Whatnot stream, and we stream Saturday through Friday. Sunday through Friday. We take Saturdays off. During the live stream, which starts at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
On Whatnot.
On Whatnot, you can buy the stream. You can buy the stuff.
Yeah, it's in the store.
It's in the store. So click on the bottom right. I'm selling these boxes for $100 each. I'm not going to unbox these. I'm just going to sell it like this. For $100 per box, you can sell it for $200 to $300 plus shipping, and hopefully double your money. And I'm just going to ship it out in these boxes and call it a day. Yes, you can. I pulled all my listings into a program before I was suspended because insurance. I have a program that holds all my items, but I'm actually not going to relist it onto a different platform or sell my listings to somebody else with the listings because I don't want to jeopardize, I don't want to contaminate somebody's store with my inventory. If they're tracking these items, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm not going to give you the exact listing and photos. That looks like I'm starting another store, and I don't want to do that. I do not. In the event I do get unsuspended, I want to do it the right way. I don't want to circumvent the fees because they're going to be like, oh, he just opened a store in his wife's name. I'm not interested in doing that. Can my wife buy and sell on eBay? Absolutely. She is not me. It would be a problem, though, if I was running the store as her. That would be the only problem.
Thank you for the super chat, Nick Roberts.
Thank you, Nick.
He's asking, were you selling sample sneakers? Would they sell quick before they were able to Vero them?
Yes, but again, it was not only sample sneakers. I also want to clarify that. I sold lots of just regular sneakers, Jordans. I sold 2 pairs of Yeezys, not very many. I only had a pair of, I sold 2 pairs of Yeezys and I have 3. So I have 1 more pair somewhere around in here. But I would, because the average sale price ended up being like $100. So there was still plenty of common stuff. But I guess in the video I made it sound like I was only selling $20,000 shoes. That's not true. I only sold a couple of those. Most of them were just rare sneakers, not necessarily samples. But regardless, I did not have the provenance. Didn't have the chain of custody, as Rockstar Flipper said. Didn't have the chain of custody properly done. So I was walking a fine line. Some people do it, and as Tech and Sports would say, some people speed and some people don't get caught. I got caught. So I think the managed payments team, but I don't know. I know Walter Blake made a video, and he was saying, I can't remember the exact video, but there was a lot of speculation in the video, and I don't know if any of that is true. I just know that I personally, if I were going to speculate, I would guess managed payments. Managed payments had a problem with the volume. They didn't want to take on that risk, so they suspended me. And so eBay, their hands are tied if the payment processor won't do it. So that's my guess.
I guess along with that, Carol is asking, why would eBay not accept the same proof of purchase that the IRS accepts?
Because the IRS is not at risk. The payment processor is at risk. So and okay, this is also interesting. And I'll ask you guys this. The credit card chargeback period is 6 months usually, right? 180 days. The majority of the shoes that I sold were before November last year, between May and November. So did eBay wait until that 6-month period ended and then they suspended me? Because if they had done it then, they would have held literally hundreds of thousands of dollars if they held my payments at that time. They did not hold any of my payments. They did for a couple of days, but not like a long period. So anyway, I don't know if it was on purpose that they waited 6 months before they suspended me, but they didn't hold any funds. So the shoes I sold up until January 19th, in theory, people could file a chargeback all the way until July. But yeah, it is interesting the way that eBay handled it, and the timing of it is odd. So I don't know. I don't know the exact reasoning, but the IRS is very different. Okay, the IRS looks at what goes in, what comes out. That's different than eBay's asking me, where did these come from? That's a different question.
Thank you for the super chat, Aaron. Aaron Cortez.
Thank you, Aaron.
Do you think selling new shoes 100 to 250 new with no receipt is safe?
No.
I am growing a store and on pace to grow 100% this year.
Definitely.
Growing too fast?
Well, no, it depends. Like it's a lot more risky than used items that,
new with
new 100 to 200, no receipts. You will eventually get jammed up, in my opinion, because that's like a lot of Amazon sellers have problems with this because they'll mix in some. You can mix in some fakes. That's the problem, right? So if you can't prove every single purchase, where you got it from, line by line by line by line by line by line, where did all this stuff come from, you are at a little bit of risk compared to someone who sells glassware or clothes, used electronics. You're a lot less likely to have that problem.
Ellie says, you seem very composed. Did you expect it to happen?
Absolutely not. I did not expect it to happen. I was planning on doing eBay. Okay, here's another thing. I have a lot riding on this. There's a lot of people involved. It's not just me. I did not expect to be suspended at all. I'm calm and composed during lots of problems because I've had a lot of bad stuff happen to me in my life. This is not that bad compared to other bad stuff that's happened to me. So this is not...
There's the train.
There's a train. I know. I've had some horrible stuff happen to me, so this is, I don't want to say this is child's play, but like, because it's still bad. Losing a 6-figure income is bad, right? But there's not like, I think, one other thing that's interesting is that with money, I would say 90% of the value of money or more comes from having $100,000 in savings. If you can get to the point where you have $100,000 in savings as an emergency fund, that's like 90% of your money problems will be solved. Because if you need an emergency surgery, because that's the main thing, right? If you lose your health, you lose everything. If you can pay for a couple of surgeries, you feel better than other things. Other stuff like fancy stuff that doesn't really do anything. But if you have a little bit of a security blanket, 6 months in savings, 1 year in savings, a couple of years in savings, then you'll feel better. And for me, I have not upgraded my lifestyle in 5 years. I've been saving all that money in case something like this happened. So is it the worst thing ever? No, I think it would be, and again, a few things would be worse. If I lost my YouTube channel, that would be worse, right? So, because I feel like YouTube has been something I also really enjoy, and I don't have to make a video every single day like eBay. I don't have to list every single day. And if I lost my suppliers, right now I'm getting inventory from seven different sources. If I were to lose those sources, I would not be able to run a wholesale business or move to a different platform. Also, we talk about, this channel is about building an online store. It's not only eBay. Building an online store means eBay is just one marketing channel. one marketing channel. So I guess here's the thing. I wasn't expecting eBay to suspend me, but I knew it could happen. Yeah.
Miss Versace says, "Hi, can you please explain how to purchase your boxes on Whatnot?"
Yes. So there's combined shipping on Whatnot of $1 for each additional box that you buy. So what happens is the stream goes live, and in the bottom right, there's an icon that looks like a store. You click on that. In the Buy It Now section, my store will be for sale. And then you just click on the box and buy. If you buy more than one box, each additional box ships for $1, which makes them very affordable if you get more than one. So I'm planning on liquidating my inventory there. Also, to really drill it in, guys, we're gonna go do dirty jobs, for lack of a better term. I'm gonna go dig holes, dig ditches, drive Uber, to show you guys how lucky you are to be able to sell on eBay and resell online in general, because you can do it in your pajamas and you can't do that with a normal job, right? And it's not physically that intense compared to other occupations. So yeah, I want people to feel how grateful it is, because I want to work in an Amazon warehouse for a week and you'll see how shitty it is compared to selling on eBay. There's no other even replacement for it. That's right now. My best option, I think, is Mercari, and that's besides my own website. We're gonna add goods to my own website, but
Yeah.
that means I have to bring my own traffic, and I luckily have that. But I'd rather use somebody else's traffic because traffic is expensive.
We got a new channel member, the
Thank you,
Blossoming Magnolia.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna make some custom icons.
She's
for
gonna
you
make
guys.
custom icons for
I
you
like to
guys.
draw. So I'll
Appreciate
make
the
some
memberships.
member icons and some custom emojis for you guys.
Yep, appreciate. Yeah, Christine's also. We're making merch. Maybe I should go get those.
Sure. I drew a design, and then we got some patches, and we
All
just
good?
got them in yesterday, and we're gonna sew them onto some merch. So I'm excited. Oh wait, I think the patches. Oh, it's fine. You will find them.
Where did?
How you all doing? Did you hear the train? Will the boxes be separated into specific categories? No, and also it's basically just what was in his store. So the wholesale boxes that he's selling are women's clothing. The patches, I believe, are over there.
They were in here. Okay, so Christine drew these patches.
Yeah.
Make progress daily. So we are gonna sew these onto
Some hoodies.
and
sweatshirts.
patches. So if you guys know somebody in the Bay Area that knows how to sew, please refer them. Or if you want to sew, we will pay you. So we're gonna do some limited runs of merch. Christine made all of it, and she gets a piece of it too. So support the channel, buy some stuff.
Yay, you guys like that.
And I'm gonna do my best to, answer as many questions as I can, because there's a ridiculous amount of questions. So,
Oh, Joyce is wondering how many items in each box.
15 items in each box.
And they're all women's clothing.
All women's clothing, but sometimes you'll get an Easter egg. I sent somebody a rice cooker. In one of the boxes, you will get some. There's some $100 plus pieces in here. Not all of it is junk, and by junk I mean $10 to $30 plus shipping. That was all. My entire store was just common items between $10 and $30. But in here, there's some Arc'teryx. There's some, let's see what other brands there's. There's North Face, there's tons of Patagonia. There's probably at least 100 pieces of Patagonia random in here that are nice. There's a lot of North Face. There's a lot of Smart Wool is in my area a lot. What other crazy brands? Those are the main, there's a lot of Eileen Fisher. Eileen Fisher is probably the most common high-end women's brand that I find here in the higher segments. There's some Veronica Beard, which is a low-end luxury. That's in here as well.
What is the shipping cost to the UK?
I don't know if Whatnot ships to the UK yet. So you'll have to look at the app.
Do they do international?
They do. They're starting to do international. But I want to sell this domestically because I'm worried about the shipping costs international. You get $1 combined shipping on the second box. So every additional box you buy is only $1 shipping. That's why I'm selling it on Whatnot.
Thank you for the super chat, the Blossoming Magnolia.
Thank you.
Remember. And then Nick Roberts, also another super chat. He says, Google shopping ads are free. It's a huge opportunity with starting your own site.
That's true. So I think wholesale reseller boxes is something that would trend on Google as well. The kind of an issue is that I only can get 1,000 pieces per week. That's not very many boxes. So like I think we have 115,000 subscribers and a wholesale box is 50 pieces. That's only 20 boxes. For 116,000 people, that doesn't work. So I would have to start buying by the truckload and sorting it and learning how to do it. But then a lot of wholesale boxes are garbage, so I don't plan on buying a truckload of stuff and selling it to people because it's too much. One box is manageable, one truckload, I have no idea how to do that.
Cerebral Nation says, if you buy multiple boxes, do you get a discount?
No, but you get $1 shipping.
Discounted shipping,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got another super chat from DXVID.
Thank you.
Is it risky to wholesale graphic branded tees? We have 50 pieces of Disney, Nickelodeon, alcohol brands, etc., all authentic. Could that trigger a Vero?
It can if Disney doesn't like it. But I think what I was not intending to do was scare people from selling on eBay. That's not the point. I think as long as you can prove where you got them, you'll be okay. And if you can't prove where you got them and you have a receipt, for most people that's still fine. You're not selling at enough of a volume that eBay will raise its eyebrows. I think, okay, if I'm gonna guess where I think the volume comes in, it's 100,000 a month. I think if you start selling 100,000 a month, it's so uncommon to do that eBay starts really taking a look at what you're doing. At 100,000 per month, I think eBay is really like, okay, what is this seller doing? Because the normal sellers on eBay only sell 2,000 per month. So why are you doing 50 times what the normal reseller is doing? They're gonna be paying attention.
Another super chat from Historic Publishing.
Thank you.
Can you please advise on who made the patches? They look good and I'll buy.
Right? Christine made the patches, she drew it.
Yeah, I drew the patches. I think in terms of the making though, I forget the company that we ordered.
Custompatches.com, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something
Maybe
like that.
we'll plug them.
Yeah, we'll plug them. They did a great job.
They did do a good job. Yeah, it was awesome. And it was pretty fast too.
It was pretty fast,
Yeah.
a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And then a super chat from MetaMan X. Would you recommend starting an LLC for eBay?
No, I think you should just file under yourself as a sole proprietorship. The only reason that you would get an S Corp or an LLC is if you want additional protection, which is nice. Liability insurance is not too expensive. General liability insurance you can also get as a sole proprietor. You do not need to be an LLC or an S Corp. Self-employment tax of 18% is the main reason why you would not want to be self-employed. So as an example, for me, my salary is double taxed. I get taxed self-employment 18% and the regular income tax. But the end of the year, when I take a disbursement from Daily Refinement Corporation, that disbursement does not have the 18% self-employment tax because I pay myself a reasonable salary, less now because I'm no longer an eBay seller. So I'm probably gonna have to reduce the amount I pay myself because I'm trying to reduce that 18% self-employment tax. So I'll say to the IRS, I no longer am on eBay, so I'm gonna make YouTube videos and I sell wholesale and I teach people how to do it now. So, but maybe little Mercari store. We're still thinking about that.
Christina Myers is asking, we can only buy while you are live?
Yep, you can only buy when I'm live at the moment. We start we're gonna stream from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Once we start getting into the flow and we're working on it.
And eventually we're gonna open a Shopify store and then these will maybe also be on the store so you can buy anytime.
Yep.
Right? Eventually. We're getting there. We're working on it.
We're getting there.
Oh yeah, so when is the auction? Blossoming Magnolia is asking.
The next one will be Sunday at 9 a.m. And I have two streams now actually. I have the East Coast stream. So in the evening one, you could also buy them from my evening streamer, Tiffany. But Sunday's the big one. Sunday, this Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the big time when I'm going to start selling my store.
Historic Publishing. I'll buy your merch. Just FYI, I meant Christine's design looks great, and I'll support the work. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's see.
Let's do 5 more.
Steadfast Selections, Renee, can we get the patch just by itself? Yes.
Yeah, we can sell
so we ordered 200.
Yep.
And we're gonna sew most of them onto merch, but then we figured people might also just want the patch.
Yeah.
So we'll also just like sell the patch too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely. And then thank you for the super chat from DXVID again. I have the opportunity to buy 1,000 pounds or 3,000 to 3,500 pieces, bales of new with tag mall brand clothing. Would a high volume of new with tag clothing be risky?
Probably not. The clothing category is not known for suspending people. The only suspensions come from luxury brands. From my experience, I've been doing this for 5 years. This is just best practices for me. I don't see a lot of people getting suspended for clothing that's mall brand. Hardly ever. I don't even have a single Vero on my account, actually. The main one I've heard of is White House Black Market. That's pretty much the only new with tags mall brand I have seen come after people. And usually those people use stock photos. So that's been my experience. And potentially the North Face, Patagonia, Lululemon. If it's the current season, then they come after you. Under Armour, I've heard, if it's the current season. But how many people can get the current season at a price cheap enough? That's why it's suspicious.
Another super chat from Caesar B Tech.
Caesar, thank you.
I sell shoes. Why would eBay require invoices, especially since the shoes passed authorization? Do you suspect they are stolen? Do they suspect they are stolen?
Not necessarily, but the payment processor may deem you as high risk if you do too much. So I have seen a lot of shoe sellers get suspended. If you guys know Relentless Resell, Carlos got suspended off of eBay years ago from doing Nike outlet. So, it is dangerous. There are also international laws. So if you sell across borders and they don't like that, they can also suspend your account. So Nike is a little bit of a riskier brand if you're selling any type of volume. The reason why eBay cares is because they don't want to be liable, and they don't want to be a platform like that supports unusual activity.
Where can you get the patch? We'll probably put it in the Shopify website.
Yeah, we'll put the patch in the Shopify website.
Yeah,
so we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to learn how to do that. That will be at dailyrefinement.com when we figure it out.
Yeah, not there yet.
Not there yet. We haven't even made it yet. We just have the patches.
Yeah.
So
we just got all the stuff.
Yeah.
So look out for that. We'll do a video about it probably.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's any other questions?
I think one more question. Last question. And then we'll go. Is there a lot of people? Okay. Appreciate you guys still following me. I thought I was gonna have a mass exodus, only be talking to 2 people. But I appreciate everyone still following me after this, supporting me. Appreciate all the super chats. That helps. And we'll be making really, really cool content, looking at brick and mortars. You guys will see me digging ditches, maybe cleaning porta potties. There's no job that I'm too proud to do, but hopefully it'll make you guys recognize how amazing it is to be able to sell stuff online. Just a lot of comments.
Carlin says, I have been dying to grow Shopify. Cannot wait to learn from you in this process.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Videos about that whole journey.
That whole Shopify thing is going to be interesting. I love the combined shipping on Shopify, and that's really my favorite part of all these different websites. And where eBay lacks the most is the combined shipping. It would make sense, right, for me to sell.
There's the alarm.
I know. That's the alarm for us to go.
It's not a stream without the alarm.
It's not a stream without the alarm. But yeah, I'm excited to make Shopify content as well. So definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah, lots of content ideas.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
How do we end?
The X.